Hello and good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining us already. I'm just going to wait a few minutes and give people some time to join in. We did all wear black today. We didn't mean this, did we? We're in Melbourne, so it's kind of a uniform in Melbourne, really. I think these days, unfortunately, black is the colour. Okay, so we'll get started in a moment. And I'll introduce you to the team. Lovely to have you all joining us. Hope you've got a cup of tea or got your lunch. Alrighty, time is precious, so I am going to get started. First of all, hello and welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Really excited to be able to show you what we offer at the National Business Institute and the courses that we deliver. And today's webinar is particularly around the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing. And we'll walk through a few slides. I'll do some introductions. We've got trainers and assessors. We've got one trainer and assessor that is going to speak with us today, and that's Fiona. And we I'm actually just going to open up our slides. So hopefully you can see our slides here. And today's session, like I said, is around the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing that we have here at the National Business Institute. So I'd like to begin our session acknowledging our country, and we pay our respects to our elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So today, myself, Kerry, I am the Operations and Compliance Manager at the National Business Institute, and I may have spoken to many of you before, and if you haven't, feel free to contact me anytime. Very accessible, based here in our Melbourne office in Cheltenham. It'd be great if any of you are here from Melbourne. But we, as you probably know, we're completely online. So we have students all across Australia, Tasmania. We've actually even got a couple of students in New Zealand. And so conveyancing in particular is a really big up and coming course, as well as a growing industry. You know, particularly the government talks a lot about their plans to continue developing properties and things, so we're going to need a lot of conveyancers. So hence part of the reason why we really want to talk to you about this industry and your possible career moves. So myself, I've got an education background. Actually, I'm not a conveyancer at all. So please, I'm not the expert. That's why I brought along Fiona. Fiona is one of our wonderful trainers and assessors, and she has been with us for probably a year or so now. She runs her own successful franchise business. She has also done this course with us, so she's got her own first-hand experience of what the online course is like, and where it's challenging, where it's rewarding, where she's engaged with the trainers and assessors and webinars, and she's all been a part of it. So she's now able to help our students get through it successfully as well. She also comes with a world of knowledge. She has a Bachelor of Law Of course, the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing, training and assessment qualifications that we need to adhere to by our regulator, who's also called ASPA. And she's been within the conveyancing industry for about 2 years, and within the legal sector, commercial law and contract law, around about 10 or so years. So coming with a wealth of knowledge to us. First of all, I hope you have seen there that we've got the Q&A section. So I'd like you to, at any point during this webinar, pop any questions in there and we will get to them. If we can't get to them all, I would hope we would. We will definitely get back to you after, but today is about answering those questions, engaging with you, but we can also contact you one-on-one and walk through your own individual needs as well. So please use the Q&A. We are contactable after this webinar, of course, anytime. So the things that we are going to go through in this webinar is all things sort of conveyancing. So we might have a range of different people here. You may know everything about conveyancing, you may know absolutely nothing, and that's great. We want that. So we'll determine sort of what conveyancing is, why you'd want to be a part of conveyancing. Then we want to let you know about our course, like what's involved in the course, how hard is it, what am I going to have to do, how many hours do I have to put in, is it flexible? So we'll run through some of that information for you, some tips and strategies. So we speak to our students all the time, so we know the best way to get through this course and get the best out of it. And the question and answers as well. So that's what we hope to get through. And we're only going to run this session for about 30 minutes today. So we understand you're probably at work or you've got family or kids pulling at your leg or something like that. So we're going to get through it. And like I said, we're readily available to speak with you personally as well. So now I also want to introduce you Dinnerly, and if you've spoken to any of our team, you may have spoken to Dinnerly before. She is our student support expert and also our marketing support. So she's popping a poll up here. We just want to understand, what is it that you know about conveyancing? Are you in the industry? Are you working in the industry? Are you part of a membership organisation, maybe the Australian Institute of Conveyancing? You might be in the education part of it. Do you maybe just understand the basics of conveyancing and that's why you're here, you want to know more? You just have a really limited knowledge, or you just have absolutely no idea? That's why I'm here. That's why I've signed up, because I just do not know what conveyancing even is. So we're just going to take a moment to jump in here and see if we can just engage with us. And this will also help us to know, if, so for example, I can already see it sort of split, it's a third each way, which is brilliant. I love that. And it looks like everyone knows a little bit about conveyancing, so we don't need to really go back to basics. We'll just, we'll get, that's excellent. I can still see a few people joining in there. So we won't tell you the basics of conveyancing. I think you understand. So what I'll do is I'll start moving along to the next slide for us. And I'm going to hand us over to Fiona, who, like I said, is the expert in conveyancing. So there's no point me talking about it. I'll hand you over to the expert. So here you go, Fiona.
Thank you, Kerry. And yeah, thank you for everyone that's joined us today and put aside a little bit of time to get to know and understand conveyancing a little bit, and obviously what NBIA is offering. So conveyancing, Kerry mentioned currently running a franchise business in conveyancing. And Kerry asked me just to talk about, pretty much what is conveyancing all about. Generally, what am I doing on a day-to-day basis? I think the first thing I will say is no day is ever the same. Every single day is different. Every single client is different. And generally, as a conveyancer, you're working with a lot of stakeholders. So whether you're just engaging a new client coming into the business, understanding what their requirements are, what they're looking to purchase, have they got their finance kind of sorted out, where are they at with the offer, all the way through to actually settlement day, when you get to sort of make that fantastic call. It's a really good call to make straight after settlement. You've got all your PEXA notifications come through to say it's settled. You pick up the phone and talk to the client and say, congratulations. Either you've now sold your property, or you can go and pick up your keys to your property. And that's one of the best phone calls to make during the day, with settlements and with clients, because you kind of got them all the way there. Throughout the whole process, continually guiding clients on what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, including, and doing a lot of tasks involved, which is sort of what's covered on this slide here, whether it's, doing the right searches for the property, just checking, the contract. They might be doing a contract review for the client, all the way through to, stamping and then getting all things adjusted at the back end of the settlement. Also, for every particular client, there will be multiple other stakeholders that you're engaging and working with closely. It might be a broker. It'll be the real estate agent involved. It might be, talking them through things like title insurance, what they need to do around building and pest, and engaging those stakeholders as well. So generally, if I was to describe conveyancing, or my role in a nutshell, I'm pretty much a guide, but also a problem solver. So quite often things don't go so smoothly. You need to get in and mitigate some of those with your client, working closely with them. I would also say, whilst there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of tasks to do, I would spend at least 60 to 70% of my time on the phone, talking through with the client and the relevant stakeholders to get that transaction sort of all the way through. So it's always very exciting. Every single client is different. Their level of understanding is different. The amount of time you take in terms of actually educating them on the process and what needs to be done and when is different with every single matter. So it's certainly never boring, I would say. Never boring. There's always something interesting going on. And then you get that bit at the end where you go, actually, I helped that client to get through that property transaction and settle. Whether it's first home buyer or investor or whoever, but you get to say that at the end, and that's probably the most satisfying part of it. Can I go to the next slide if possible? Okay, so a career in conveyancing. There are quite a lot of different options, and I think Kerry mentioned it earlier. The need for conveyancers is increasing. Working in the business myself, we're always looking for, good people that can, do the conveyancing from a staff perspective. Obviously, you can actually be an employee within a licensed conveyancer that has a licensed conveyancer, or you could be working for a lawyer in a lawyer's office as a conveyancer as well. You could be running your own conveyancing business. There's many different sort of options in terms of what the conveyancer role and how it fits into the different types of industries and different types of business. I've seen people may start out as a legal assistant in a business, and they progress through to becoming a licensed conveyancer, and then even maybe starting their own business as a licensed conveyancer. The course, obviously, to get through to that license piece, you need to get the course sort of done and under your belt. But there's quite a lot of career progression available, I find, if that's sort of what you're looking for as well, all the way through to running your own business. And again, depending on, you know, which state you're operating in, as to sometimes that sort of determines the model a little bit too. But there's certainly quite a lot of property transactions always going on in Australia, and so the need's actually quite high. Just as a bit of a point here, we dropped just a median sort of salary range. So sort of what are you looking at being paid as a conveyancer? And from seek.com, so you're looking around 75 to 85,000. Again, the better conveyancers will actually get paid more than that. And then again, depending on whether, if you're running the business yourself as a licensed conveyancer, then, you know, it depends on how successful your business is in terms of what you're getting paid. But yeah, it's definitely a good industry to get into, and you know, lots of different sort of entry points for you as well. Next one, please. Okay, so what's new and happening in the industry? Definitely, Kerry managed to pull these stats for us, which was great. But definitely the ratio of females to men in the industry is quite high, and it's obviously growing as well. And just my general experience, you know, over the last couple of years is, and you know, working quite closely with the other side of the transaction. You work with the conveyancer on the other side, and I would say, even just looking at these numbers, like at least 90% of those are women, you know, working in the industry. And I think part of the reason, you know, for that, obviously it's quite flexible in terms of time. There's clearly sort of deadlines that need to be met, you know, but you've also got the option of actually working. Now, in many cases, if you are running your own business and you can work from home, you don't necessarily need to do face-to-face conversations anymore with the clients, which provides a lot of flexibility with children, dropping kids off at school, picking them up, etc. It is quite a good industry to be in from that perspective, and I think probably why it's sort of grown in popularity. You know, with more females in the industry. That being said, within NBIA, we do have quite a high level of men enrolling in the course. So you don't need to worry, any of the men that have joined us today. We do have quite a number of men in conveyancing, and yeah, it's always good to see you know, that representation coming through. So yeah, I think if we can go to the next one. Okay, so there is a lot, you know, whilst conveyancing has been around for many, many years, there is, you know, we've sort of thought something to talk about in terms of some of the new stuff for conveyancing, and this is around AI. So there is definitely some applications for it in the industry. You know, probably one of the tasks, I would say, that takes the longest in a conveyancing transaction is the contract review. And you can see here AIC is actually trialing some new software in relation to that. If it's possible of pulling out all the key details out of the contract, I think that will certainly help from an efficiency perspective. PEXA AI Assistant has got something for permission aware, TriConvey, Leap AI. You know, they're all investing in this space, which, you know, over time, you know, as these things actually evolve, we'll definitely get the efficiencies and the accuracy out of them, which is, you know, from a conveyancing perspective, accuracy is really important. That you get all those details correct. And even for even just talking about PEXA, in and on its own, the fact that we now have PEXA to do the settlements, and we're not sort of tracking off to you know, settlement meetings and what have you so much, the accuracy of that, particularly when you're lodging you know, transfers to the relevant land registry's office, it's difficult to get it wrong now, because everything's actually pre-formatted, pre-set up, pre-checked. So technology is actually having quite a big effect on the industry at the moment, and will continue to have quite a positive effect, I think. I think that was probably it for me for now, Kerry.
Yeah, thank you, Fiona. That's brilliant. It's great to get that insight into what's happening in the industry, and it's really important for us here at NBIA. We like to ensure that we're incorporating all of these things into our program to ensure that we are graduating people who are industry ready. There's no point coming and doing a course and then stepping out there and you can't get a job. So we meet with people like the AIC, we discuss industry consultations with people like Fiona and other business owners and people working within conveyancing, even past students. We like to engage with our past students and see what they're doing now, what's happening. And I think particularly when you're talking about AI, it's just making the industry so much easier for people to come into and for people to do their job. Because with conveyancing, I think there's a lot of room for error if that, the accuracy is not done, the research isn't done, the proofing isn't done. There's a lot on a conveyancer's head, I think, if something goes wrong there. So I think the integration of AI and technology is a massive game changer for this industry. So very exciting, and we love it. So you can tell that we're very passionate about this. So our course is nationally recognised and accredited. So that's, I suppose, a symbol of quality in education. So something that you can be proud of and know that you're going to a quality institute. We're completely online and self-paced. So the best thing about that is that all you need is a laptop, and look, you'll need a camera to do role plays and things like that. So effectively, you could do your course from wherever you need to be. If you're traveling to and from work on the train, I know some people will study while they're on the train. If you've got to take a holiday and you've got your laptop, you could do a couple of hours here or there. You've put the kids to bed, you've got a couple of hours to grab your laptop out. So rather than having to attend actual physical classrooms or attend scheduled online classrooms, you don't need to do that. And I think the main thing about being 100% online and self-paced, it doesn't mean you're alone. That's one thing that we've done a lot of research into. We deal with a lot of students. We know that online can often be difficult. Some people just love online, that's their thing. But we make sure that we've got the support, the resources. We've got unlimited one-on-one trainer sessions. So, and we have a pool of trainers and assessors. So of course we've got Fiona, who you've met today, and you can book a Zoom or a Teams meeting with Fiona once a fortnight to keep you accountable. They're there. We've got a chat, so you just chat to them. Our student support team, we've got a great base here in Melbourne as well, and on the phones, we're on the chat, we're on the phones. We've introduced a new Facebook group, a student Facebook group. So we encourage students just to get on there and meet each other, talk to each other, be going through the same thing, meet each other. We run webinars, and if you can't attend the webinars, we've then got the recordings there for you. So again, we just understand busy lives. We're all the same. So trying to fit all of this learning in around our very busy lives these days. We incorporate that practical training that I was talking about. So currently, as a student, you'll learn about, for example, the settlement process, but then you'll actually log into PEXA and you'll complete the settlement process in PEXA. You'll navigate around the PEXA. It's a training site, but it reflects the actual PEXA site that you will use in your day-to-day life as a conveyancer. We also have a training certification for LEAP. So once you complete that LEAP training, you'll actually get a certificate added to your CV. Already you're a step ahead. You've got that on your CV. There's some finance sort of units that we'll run through as well, and you get to practice using MyOb and Xero, or one or the other if you just prefer to use one or the other. But any of this experience, you add it to your CV, and it's already making you more credible and more attractive to get a job in industry. Our qualified and experienced trainers and assessors, we've got 20 years of experience in the industry. So that's, these trainers and assessors are incredible to speak with. They've got the qualifications that they need to be doing, not only the training, but they've also got that industry qualifications. They're always being updated because they are also Australian Institute of Conveyancing members. They attend training, they attend networking events. So you might even see them around if you're a member. Our program allows you to get a student membership. So actually New South Wales students, AIC want you to join for free. So it's a no-brainer. Everyone, you should be networking in the industry. So Victoria, it's a really reduced rate, same as South Australia. So same as Tasmania, Northern Territory. So we really we meet with these industry, the AIC regularly, and we discuss our students, and we also try to get you to get involved with them and attend the networking events. One way to just meet people, stay up with all the changes in the industry. It changes so frequently. Jobs, it's the best way to get a job as well if you're looking. So the course duration is 12 months. And again, it's self-paced. So I'll give you some hints and tips around what students have sort of told us to maintain and stay on track with that 12 months. There is an option to extend that, so no pressure. We can, you just need to reach out to us if you do need some additional time, and we'll speak to you about that. And there's also interest-free payment plans available, which is crucial. You know, this day and age, you know, you don't have to make an upfront payment. You can pay it off, and there's no hidden fees. It's just going to stay the same the whole way through. So that's a really good incentive as well. Our students have told us, and also our trainers and assessors, so we have 2 or 3 trainers and assessors who have actually done this exact program. And so we know that you need to invest around about 10 to 15 hours a week to do this course and to get it done successfully. It is, I'll always tell students, you know, this is an advanced diploma, which is a level 6, which is a very high qualification. You know, usually you probably know yourself, you've either done a Cert 3 or a Cert 4 or a diploma. Well, this is then your advanced diploma. So it's quite a high level. So expect that the assessments are of that quality as well. So you will have to do role plays. This is where we also have trainers and assessors. If you need someone to do your role play with, they're there to help you. We have real life case studies. There'll be projects that you'll need to engage in. And again, don't worry if you aren't working in conveyancing, it's not a problem. We have simulated scenarios and things like that. If you can apply something in your workplace, even better. Research skills, you'll learn how to research, and particularly legislation, regulation, legal terminology, the websites to refer to. You'll save them, you know, on your laptops because you'll forever be using them, and I'm sure Fiona will be like, yeah. We encourage you to meet with your trainers and assessors fortnightly or monthly. You know, set it in, book the dates in. You can book them ahead of time, put them in your calendars. Let them hold you accountable, because that can often be a challenging thing when you're doing an online self-paced. Who's holding me accountable here? So make your trainers do that. That's what they can do for you. And there's 15 units of competency in the Advanced Diploma of Conveyancing. So it's a lot to complete over 12 months. So think about that. That's more than 1 unit a month. So within each unit of competency, there's at least 2 to 3 assessments per unit. So again, it is quite, it is quite big. It's quite involved. We're very open about that. But we're here to support you, and happy to walk you through any other questions around that. Another thing is our trainers and assessors will give you valuable feedback in your assessments. It's really important to read it, take it on board, and then apply it. It's really up to you how much of this you take on board to help them grow and learn and be the best that you can be. And just continually ask questions. No question's a stupid one. There's always the same when you're doing a course. So we've got some beautiful testimonials. Lots of students have completed with us. We were a newly sort of taken over business in the last 2 years. So we've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of research. We've done feedback from students. And I think if you went in to see our reviews on Google or spoke to a past student, you would hopefully hear from them that it was a really enjoyable experience. Look, it's always going to be challenging, but I received support. The course material was great, easy to read, easy to follow. The online platform is easy to use, and students that feeling of accomplishment once they've completed and they receive that qualification in hand, there's nothing better. So lots of wonderful testimonials and feedbacks from our past students. And actually next week we're going to run another forum similar to this, and we'll actually have a past student in here, and you can speak to them directly, ask them questions and whatever you have to ask them. And that we've told them, like, please be honest, how did you find the course? So they'll be here next week. If you are interested in signing up, we have just launched our Black Friday sale course, Black Friday. So you will save $500 off this course, which is the best time to jump in and get this. Some key questions that we've actually had around this is, can I purchase the course now and start after Christmas? Yes, you can, no problem. So get your Black Friday sale so that you save money on that. We'll set your start date as of January, and you can commence your course and get access to the course then. And then we can even, work out your payment plans from there, or however you wish. But it's a good time to get on board and start thinking about, or even just have a discussion with us. We're here. And that's probably enough talking from me at the moment. I'm going to sort of hand to Dinnerly and see if you guys have got any questions in the Q&A section, and feel free to jump in there now and add any other questions. That could be for me, that could be for Fiona, it could be for Dinnerly, whatever. So I might need Dinnerly's help here. She's my guru. It's in the chat.
So Lisa would like to know, does the diploma teach you about PEXA and how to transact on the platform? So that's a good question for Kerry.
I'm so sorry. I think, there we go. I've got this echo happening there. So I'm sorry, I think I was distracted by that echo just now. So what was that question, Danny?
Do you want me to answer, Danelli?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the answer is yes, and the mechanism used for that is there's an actual assessment that pretty much just steps you through the process of a purchase in PEXA. So there's 2 case study scenarios that you work through. You get the login to the PEXA platform. It's set up in a training environment, so you can't break anything. But you get to step through 2 scenarios in the course, and as you go through that process, you actually learn how to set up a new PEXA workspace, how to look at the different funding sources and client types and all of that. So you do get that out of the course.
Great. We have another question from Lisa. So can you do the course quicker than 12 months if it's self-directed?
I'm happy to jump in there, and I'm really sorry about that echo. I think that's my lack of technology experience. So yes, you can, absolutely you can. So the course is designed as a part-time online course. So generally, a lot of our students are working or have other obligations that means that they cannot commit full-time, and the course then is 12 months. So the amount of resources, learning and reading and research that's included that you're expected to do, if you are able to do this full time, you could finish it sooner. And I think, to be honest, the earliest I've seen someone finish it is probably 10 or 11 months. Not to say it can't be done sooner. There is a lot involved, and look, it's an incredibly interesting course and engaging. It just depends how much time you can really give to it. I hope that helps.
We've got a question from Manisha. She wants to know if we need to know detailed accounting in order to complete this course. I'll throw that one to you, Fiona.
So I wouldn't say detailed accounting, but there are aspects to one of the modules, particularly where you there's a scenario that you need to be able to set up in either MYOB or Xero. But I would say it's not detailed accounting. I would say some very basic accounting skills would be great. But again, you've got the material, you've got the support from the trainer and assessors. I think for some of that, there's also a lot of webinars there as well. So I would say not detailed accounting. You don't need that to be able to do this. And that part of the subject's actually really just thinking from the point of view of if you were running your own conveyancing business and what you would need to sort of understand.
Great. We've got one more question. Will this qualification allow me to gain a conveyancing license? So, Kerry, I'll throw that.
Yep, absolutely. So once you have achieved this qualification, you then have the education part that is required for applying for your license. You'll then have, once you go to your state authority for the licensing, you'll then understand what experience they'll require. So some states require 1 year of work experience, some are 2 years. Fiona, maybe even you could expand on that.
Yeah, so in most states, there's a regulated requirement to have both the advanced diploma and a certain number of years experience in the business, and that experience can be working in a law firm doing conveyancing, for example, or even as a paralegal under the supervision of a licensed conveyancer. There are a few different options there, but there's definitely an experience required. But you need both of those to be able to get your license.
So I can see some in the Q&A there. So Are subjects clustered? That's a great question. Where you've finished 5 modules with another provider already. So I know some providers do that. We don't cluster. So if you're looking to bring what you've already completed across to us, as long as you've got the unit of competency, you've got the title and the code, you can just give it to us and we can have a look. So you may be eligible for the credit transfers if you've completely successfully completed those units. You certainly will be eligible for credit transfers, and then it will shorten your course, and it'll also be a bit cheaper too, because when we do a credit transfer, you obviously have less units that you need to complete through us. So we will work that out based on a personal circumstance. And I'm conscious of the time. It's 12:40, but I'm very happy to keep looking at your questions here. If anyone does need to leave us, I just wanted to get a feedback form up. So before you have to leave us, Denise just popped one up in the chat. We'd love any feedback, and I'm happy to keep going through these couple of questions there. So if we want to continue to a law degree, do we get credits for this course? It totally depends. It depends what units you've got, what units you've completed, and so if there's a couple of options there. So credit transfer means that you've got the exact units that we can credit you for. So we'll give you the credit transfer for that exact unit of competency. If you completed like a university degree or something that's got a similar subject, it will become part of a recognition of prior learning, or an RPL. So we would then look at your course, what you've completed. We'd need a full description of what the subjects were and what was involved, so that we can compare it to the vocational education, without confusing you too much. Like if you've done a university higher education degree, it does differ to a vocational education. So not to say it's completely different, because you will have learned a lot of information either way. So we like to be able to recognise that through an RPL, and we'll go through, it's certainly a one-on-one process. So, and if, I know a lot of people are usually interested in RPLs, so if you do choose to go down that way, you would just go through a process of supplying us with a portfolio of evidence. So it is quite involved, because you would need to prove exactly what you've done for us. And it's often, letters from employers, examples of things that you've done. What else? It might be an interview involved. So we need to be able to ensure that you meet the vocational education requirements. But certainly it's much better to have a one-on-one conversation once we know what you've already achieved. That's a great question. Commercial conveyancing diploma requirements. Do we need? Oh, great, perfect. Oh, wonderful. Is there anything else there at the moment, Dinelly?
How long is the black Friday sale valid for?
Ah, cool. It is going for around about a month, so it'll wrap up on the 16th of December. So, start having conversations with us, so you've got plenty of time to think about it, see if it's right for you. And even, I think, from speaking with a few people even this week, some people are like, oh, I'm going into Christmas, it's so busy, I'm not going to be able to start an advanced diploma right now. And that's totally cool, we get it. So, if you enroll now to get that discount, we can start you in January. We're very happy to do that. It just means that you won't get access until then. And we'll re-engage with you. We'll let you go for Christmas, then we'll re-engage with you after that, and chat with you and work out what works best. Just that way, then you sort of get the discounted rate. But yeah, just chat to our team. We're very happy to help and speak with you anytime. All right. Well, I've got one last slide there. I think it was just about the other session. So if you haven't registered, feel free to join us next Tuesday, the 26th at midday as well. We'll have a student in. We've got Carol coming in as well. And then we're going to talk about some accounting and tax courses, which are really popular with us as well. So, and that's the following session 3 on the 3rd of December. And then again, we'll have we've got a graduate student coming in to talk to us about the tax and accounting course that they've completed as well on the 10th of December. And then before you know it, it'll be Christmas. But that's it. If you don't mind leaving us some feedback, and again, we're around having a chat with you. Join our Facebook, join our Instagram, reach out to us, and we hope to see you here soon with us. Take care. Enjoy your day.